The mind is a powerful servant or a dangerous master, depending on how you're using it or how it's using you. Because I think a lot of people are still living unconsciously, meaning it's the mind program, the mind conditioning just running, and they're living their life on autopilot. I think if you were to ask most people, they would agree to say that the mind is powerful. If you set your mind to something, you could achieve whatever you want, right? But even though they agree, they might not know how to take control of the mind, or they might not even have the desire yet to do so. Now also, I think a lot of people are awakening to the fact that the mind is very powerful, and thanks to the internet and all the amount of information that we have today, it's more accepted and also more thought out, that power to take control back over the mind program, over those thoughts, those perceptions, and just starting to notice, starting to have that awareness of what is actually going on in my mind. What are all those thoughts, those beliefs, those projections, those things that have been running for years, for decades, and how has that been creating my reality? We're starting to see in the first stage of development that I am creating my reality, is that as long as I'm running the same program, as long as I'm thinking and feeling and acting and making the same decision and being the same old person, my life will keep on reflecting the same situations. And so in order to accelerate personal transformation, in order to accelerate and even maybe someday reach self-mastery, one of the most important disciplines that we need to really have is the ability to silence the mind. Meaning take control over what's happening and disidentify with the mind and the body. And this is another big stage in the evolution, because we have to realize that at some point, I am not my thoughts, I am not those beliefs, I am not that identity I've created, crafted, changed, evolved over time. I am bigger and greater than that. I'm not even my body. And so it leads to the question, who am I? Because if I'm not my mind and I'm not my body, then it opens up to really connecting to your true self. But as long as the mind is very, very active, as long as the mind is very loud, and as long as we don't have that awareness to just notice thoughts, to just witness, to just observe, and to really be able to reduce the noise, control and let go, right? This is the process of mastery, of awareness. I'm able to observe what's happening. I'm able to detach. I'm able to observe the mind, the belief, let them go when they no longer serve, but also always realize that I am the observer. I am greater than the mind. And so on many levels, the ability to silence the mind through meditation or through similar practice is extremely critical in terms of development, but it's also extremely difficult. And often when I introduce that to my clients, or when I just talk about meditation to friends, they have a lot of resistance. Many people have tried meditation, using apps or guided meditation on YouTube and so on. And often what I hear is how difficult it is for them to start. It's difficult, right? They cannot silence the mind. They cannot go just quiet and so on, right? It's just so active. It gets so loud and it just gets so incessant. And I just, don't know what to do with all those thoughts. And this is the beauty of meditation. And this is often why people need to meditate even more. It's because meditation only shows you what's always been there when you're not paying attention, because you're so distracted, because you're so absorbed with your work, with your affairs, with what's happening, that you're only noticing a fragment of the thoughts you have. But the moment you sit still and there's no distraction, there's nothing to do, it's like everything comes up on the surface. And now you can feel overwhelmed, right? And maybe there's emotions and maybe there's thoughts and problems and things that are coming, and you feel like, oh my God, you get so entangled, so in it, because there's so much energy or so much attention given there over time, that it can feel overwhelming. But you see the process here of like what we talked about, being able to detach, being able to let go, being able to observe, being able to realize that I am not my thoughts. Those are just thoughts, beliefs, and to just be able to see them, to be able to put distance between them, will not only allow you to let go of a lot of negative thought, to process a lot of energy, to process and become aware of a lot of belief, a lot of thoughts, a lot of patterns and programs that are creating the challenges and the situations that you find in your life, right? So it's good for self-awareness, but also be able to do a lot of cleaning, right? But more than that, it's giving you over time power over the mind, so that you no longer deeply identify with those mind programs, but able to disidentify, just see them, observe them as a program running, as a belief running. And when you start to do that, the power that those beliefs or perception or program have over you dissolve a lot. But even more important is that when you finally learn to silence your mind for periods of time, you will start hearing something else. And this is when you start to really realize and really connect that there is something greater, that you are something much greater than the mind. You start to realize what it is that gave birth and power to the mind. What is it that's really creating your reality? And you could call that your true self, your higher self, your soul, your I am presence, whatever you want to call it, right? But this is not something you just know intellectually. This is something that you awaken experientially in your feelings, in the experience, in the knowingness, in that moment that I am greater. And the moment you do that, it opens up a whole new stage in your personal growth, in your personal development, because now the mind identification and the power that the mind had over you starts to gradually dissolve. You know, some people call that ego death and so on, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to put on it. But more importantly, it's really about going back to your source, the source that is truly creating your reality, creating, directing what you can do, have, and be in your life. And so I strongly invite you to learn to meditate, to learn to sit still, to learn to still the mind, to learn to go beyond and above and detach and observe those thoughts and the mind, and to really over time learn to silence it. Because as you do so, you will be amazed by not only the burst of feelings and joy and getting high on your own supply, so to speak, that will come in the stillness, in the emptiness, but also all the health and mental benefits. But also you'll get control over the negative thoughts and patterns and anxiousness that might have been crippling you, that you feel like, oh, I don't know how to get rid of those thoughts and that type of things. When you start to be able to let go of that in your meditation, you're able to use that in your day-to-day life, to pause, to observe, to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not gonna give too much importance. I'm not gonna focus there. I'm gonna go back into my presence. I'm gonna go back and be grounded. And so the skill of being present is invaluable in your personal growth, in your personal well-being, and on a greater scale to create your life, to create what you want in your life. So my invitation for you guys is to start. If you already have a meditation practice, good for you, keep it on. If you're starting, then my invitation is find an app. There are so many apps that can guide you to the process step by step on your 5 minutes a day and so on, guide you to the process to simply learn how to meditate, how to sit there, and then go from there, evolving. That's how I started, you know, a couple of minutes, and years later, I'm still meditating every single day, every morning, 20 to 25 minutes, and it is life changing. So I hope this video makes sense, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment. If you have had a meditation practice, share with me in a comment your experience about meditation and how it has improved your life. I will see you next time. Be well, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.